Hello, and welcome back to JPzilla. Today we will be discussing a very interesting topic. As any Godzilla fan will tell you, Godzilla has been reincarnated many times, from many different eras. So here's my question. Which incarnation is the strongest? I will attempt to answer this question by examining each different Godzilla's feats from the movies, and seeing how they stack up against each other. By the end of the video, I will rank each Godzilla from lowest to highest. Note that I will not make size a factor, and I will not examine the anime trilogy Godzilla or Godzilla 1998. So let's get started. Remember, if this interests you, there are many more discussions like this in my JPzilla blog. Just type in jpzilla.blogspot.com into your search engine for many interesting articles. Let's start with Showa Godzilla. This is the very first Godzilla series ever and lasted from 1954 to 1975. The Godzilla from the first movie is different than the ones from the later Showa era movies, so I will not count his strengths in this list. This Godzilla is more of a brawler than the rest of the Godzillas, often rushing towards his opponent and grappling with them. He does not use his atomic breath as much as later incarnations, as his is much weaker. He will punch, kick, and tail swipe his way to the top. One unique ability of his that has never been seen used by any other Godzilla is magnetic ability. He can turn himself into a magnet to use against metallic enemies. His hide is probably weaker than other Godzillas, as we have seen him cut open by Gigan, and in a later incarnation, one Godzilla withstood several blows from Gigan without bleeding like Showa Godzilla did. Let's now look at Heisei Godzilla. This one came only a few years after the end of Showa, and is twice as tall. This Godzilla appears slower than his Showa predecessor, but makes up for it with a much more powerful atomic breath attack. His atomic breath was even powerful enough to blow off one of Ghidorah's heads. He is much worse at claw-to-claw combat, though, being much slower and unable to do martial arts like his predecessor. It would be quite the match if he met Showa, and would come down to whether Heisei could keep Showa at a distance using his much more powerful atomic breath, or Showa could close the gap and defeat Heisei using martial arts. Next up is Godzilla 2000. 2000 is a pretty good brawler, and has a very powerful atomic breath. He was able to grapple with Orga, a very strong kaiju, for quite a while. And Godzilla 2000's atomic breath was strong enough to blow Orga to pieces. So this is a very strong contender. Next up is Godzilla 2001. This Godzilla is probably in mid-range for speed, and has a pretty powerful atomic breath. His biggest strength is energy absorption, as he was able to absorb Ghidorah's gravity beams to power his own atomic breath. He definitely does not lack in endurance either, being able to defeat Ghidorah 3 times in one night. Now let's look at Godzilla from Godzilla against Mechagodzilla. This Godzilla is a good brawler, probably not as good as Showa, but better than Heisei. He was able to withstand a full barrage of Mechagodzilla's firepower, so his endurance is pretty remarkable. Probably as good as 2001's. Now we are at Godzilla from Godzilla Final Wars. This one is a fighter all the way, being able to defeat 13 monsters in one movie, and only being defeated once. His atomic breath is very remarkable too, being able to propel Kaiser Ghidorah, a 100,000-ton kaiju, into outer space and turning him to ash. Now we move on to Godzilla 2014. This one is a brawler, but much slower than Showa, or Millennium. His atomic breath is nowhere near as powerful as Heisei or Final Wars. In my opinion, 2014 should go low on the rankings. Next up is Shin Godzilla. Shin has a good bit of endurance, able to withstand missile fire to the face without flinching. His atomic breath attack is the strongest on this list, able to cut clean through buildings, and he can even shoot his energy through his spines and the tip of his tail. But at closer examination, he is not that powerful. His atomic breath attack takes forever to charge up, giving any of these Godzillas enough time to take Shin down. He is also a slow walker, moving at a snail's pace even though his legs are as big as buildings. So, now for the rankings. To start our list is Godzilla 2014 at the bottom. 2014 is nowhere near as good as a fighter as some of these Godzillas on the list, and his atomic breath is about as weak as the Showa-era Godzilla. At number 2, we have the Heisei Godzilla. His atomic breath is one of the most powerful of all these Godzillas, but he is very slow and cannot fight very well, face to face. Now we have Shin Godzilla. This one is just too slow to be any higher on this list, but has the most powerful atomic breath of any Godzilla on this list. Next, we have the Godzilla against Mechagodzilla version of Godzilla. This one is a pretty good brawler, and has a very decent atomic breath. His endurance is also remarkable, as he was able to take direct hits from everything in Mechagodzilla's arsenal, including one that froze everything it came into contact with to the absolute 0 degree. Next up is Showa Godzilla. This one may have the worst atomic breath, but is extremely good at brawling. Now we are at number 3 on our list, Godzilla 2001. This one has quite a bit of endurance and remarkable energy absorption. Next is Godzilla 2000 at number 2 on our list. This one is a very good fighter, and has a very powerful atomic breath, powerful enough to blow Orga to pieces. Now, in first place, the most powerful incarnation of Godzilla ever, Godzilla from Final War. This Godzilla is the strongest Godzilla ever, being able to travel the globe, beating each monster in a matter of seconds, where his predecessor spent at least half an hour defeating those monsters. His atomic breath rivals that of Heisei, being strong enough to blast enemies into outer space and incinerate them. Remember, this is just my opinion. Any of these Godzillas could have taken the number 1 spot on this list. And all Godzillas are number 1 in their series. If you are interested in more like this, go to jpzilla.blogspot.com for more articles that discuss subjects like this. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you have anything to add, I would enjoy reading it down below in the comments.